Good morning, and thank you all for joining us today. My name is Rashmita, and I'm the event planner for Microsoft Reactor Bengaluru, India. This session will run over the next 90 minutes, including Q&A. The session is being recorded and will be uploaded to our Reactor YouTube channel. I will share the link to our YouTube channel in the chat section soon. Before we begin, please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We are all here to learn together, so please be respectful of other people's views, understanding of differences, being kind and considerate in the way you engage. The chat will be open throughout, and we do encourage you all to participate. Also, please keep your mics muted during the session. I would now like to welcome Swamy, our speaker for today's session. He is an aspirant software architect and currently works at Applied Information Sciences. He loves to learn about new technologies, but for now, I will hand over to Swamy to begin the session. Over to you, Swamy.
Yeah, Rashmita, thank you so much, folks. Here is the fun. Uh, Let me share my screen. That's the source code which we'll be building this mini solution in next 2 to 3 episodes. So the previous one we have seen how to incorporate the Azure Redis cache in the previous session. So we already covered a little bit of SQL Server with Blazor WASM, Web API, these things. So 1, 2, 3 pieces we have already covered that. And this one also we have covered to a decent extent. So we'll do this. And while coming to the next episode, we'll stitch all these things. But at least for today, individually, we'll focus into this one. But in next 2 to 3 episodes, we'll definitely stitch all these things. We might replace OAuth, or additionally, we might add Azure AD integration, where all we can have the Azure AD integration. We'll see those scenarios, how we can have this. And if you're hitting the Azure functions, how can you do an AD integration of Azure functions as well as the API management so that you don't need to pass the function code. So both are managed identities, and APIM will be able to hit Azure function without any function code. There's no auth code. It can directly, that does not mean that you are opening the Azure function to the while, but you have backed it up with the Azure AD integration. So that's a pretty nice level 300 plus scenario. We'll definitely do that. Before that, I would like to take a quick minute. That's my GitHub repository, and the series is here. Series is here, and I have captured all these notes here. And for this session, I could not capture it due to some personal work I have for the next 2 weeks. I will be a little busy on my personal work, but I will get this up to date here. Just give me, before the next episode, I'll have this and the other folder ready. So keep this also handy. And the other, all the other things will be here majorly in this repo. You can go and you can see all the work which I'm doing it here. And okay, this I already spoke. We'll have another survey somewhere in the middle. We'll see that we are having proper routing. Based on that, we'll take the decision. Okay, without further delay, we'll come and um, start working on this one. This is a MS module, learning module for today's session. Is this one? I'll put that in the chat so it will be handy for you people. Perfect. So that's cool. So let's start with this. We'll go ahead and start with this. First, we'll discuss a little bit of theory and we'll do a mix and match. I have this getting ready. I will be opening up few of these tools. Just bear with me. In the meanwhile, we can set up the theoretical stuff and we'll come back and do a pure hands-on. So okay, everyone is mute. ठीक है, चलो. So we'll see this API management. So what is this API management? Why do we need this? Okay, so uh, let's assume that in all the backend services, I mean this backend or middle tier, let me call it as a services. So backend is a term which is used for the data store as well as the APIs. I'm saying it's a API services. So that's the endpoint which we go and hit it. So let's assume that we have a couple of APIs. One is products API, one is card service, one is identity, one is discount service, something like that. There are a lot of APIs which you have. Like here you can see this discount orders, payment service, and these are different APIs. Assume that these are different APIs. It's not microservices, but let's tag it as a service. API services are there. And now what will happen is if at all there is some kind of interaction from client to this API. So here the client is directly coming from here till here. Okay. And again from here till here. Like this, he's going and hitting all of these individual API services. Now, suppose there are some cross-cutting concern. That means who should access one of the point, and what is the token mechanism we need to incorporate for him to access our API, and do we need to have the rate limiting, and do we need to allow it's like a unlimited offer, he can hit us any number of times. So there are a lot of these questions or details which we have to implement. So now the next question is, does it make sense to incorporate or add these changes at all places? Definitely, always it is secure to have it. Assume that there are no robbers in our colony. That does not mean that we'll keep our main door wide open and sleep. Even though there are no robbers, we still close the doors. Okay, so that's the least privileges or secure thing. We have to incorporate all these things. So having API gateway in front of these services, we can offload all of these things. See, I need to implement some token validation, some rate limiting, or the transformation, token validation, a lot of these things. So some of those things, if I offload it to this one at a centralized location. So for any of these APIs, which is coming in through the API gateway, so this guy will take care of incorporating that so that it will be easy for rest of the folks to go ahead and use it. And another important point is the contract between the API gateway and the client, these will be fixed. So any changes which happens over this side of the world, so that will be between parties A and B. So if I call this as C, this as B, and this as A, so between A and B, the contract is fixed. Okay, I'm going to give you this token, the subscription ID or something, you will give me the data. Now, what if this API service has changed, its contract has changed? Previously, they used to give JSON. Now, for some reason, they changed their mind. They woke up on the left side of the bed and they're saying that from today, I'm going to give you XML. Now, if there is an direct integration between A and C, this order service used to give a JSON and now they are giving XML. Now, this guy has to come and change it, isn't it? So, if we marry A and B, so there's a strict contract between these two. So the output is always JSON. So in this case, even if order service told that I'm going to give you XML, there is a transformation which is already available. That's a single liner. We'll see that now. In 30 minutes from now, we'll see that in action. So it's purely transformation. In this case, when we have this API gateway, there is no change in all these clients. There are 7 to 8 clients who are integrating with orders microservice through API gateway. Now, because of this change in the backend, the clients are not at all changing. Not even a single line of change is needed on the client side. All we have to do is transformation. This is like a tip of the iceberg. Some of the points I'm bringing in. So those things. So let's see that. So API, here you can see this. We will have backends, and this guy will be man in the middle, or the middle layer there. And we can have this API keys, or JW tokens, or certifications, or other mechanisms of authentication. If you see the sample which I built it here, this was getting authenticated using the auth 0. So the token will be, the Blazor WASM will get the token from auth 0, and it passes the access token to the APIM. APIM validates the auth token, auth 0's token, and then allows someone inside. So even though the services API is there, we have to add the code here also, but here is a centralized location. We will put everything. Okay, some of the scenarios what they will tell this, even if you don't have SSL, HTTPS, even if these services are HTTP, if you have SSL till here, the internal communication can be HTTP, but better to have HTTPS or SSL at all the levels. That will be little safer. So let's see that. Okay, enforce quota and limit, transforms and caches the backend and logs. So as I was mentioning, transformation is one of the important thing which is more towards the betterment of life, and also the cache. So that means we can have one level of cache at here, the Redis cache, and another level is we can have the cache at here. So assume that the professors are a student service. So very rarely those services will change. I mean, the content, the data will change. How many times in a year a new professor joining a college? It's very rare. Out of 365 days, maximum there might be 10 times the change in the record of professor's table. So those kind of things that can be cached. So you don't need to go and hit this API that goes and checks the Redis cache. If it is not available, it gets from the SQL, drops a copy in here and give it here. So you already taken a pain of doing all these things. Then we can have a cache over here. So if we are missing over here, the next is it gets from the Redis cache. If it misses there, and then it goes to the Azure SQL server. So we are having this cache at multiple layers. So it's all towards the betterment of life. So how quickly we are giving the content to the user. Personal opinion, if I go and try to buy some service from some company's website, ABC website, and my favorite food is there, and if that guy displays takes 20 to 30 seconds to display the search, I'll happily close that browser and prepare Maggie at home, and I'll fill my stomach. I don't need to buy that. So we know that the delay is like you will lose the business. It's as simple as that. So you have an Azure portal, we'll see that, and we have a developer portal. Guys, as I was mentioning, we'll cover this to a decent extent, and again we'll revisit. In the next session, we'll bring in some more services and stitch all these things. In next 3 episodes, as I was mentioning, we'll definitely stitch everything. Uh, so there are other things known as products. Let me keep a tap on this one. Uh, I think this is, wow, this is ready. Cool. Now we can start playing. It took almost 40 minutes for this guy to give this. We'll see that. That's not a big deal. Uh, okay. So groups are there, developers, policies. We'll see step by step. Okay. Now this is one of the things which I was talking, like SSL offloading. So response caching, logging, and routing. So we have different services. So the API gateway can go and hit the service A and go and hit the service B. We can hook the identity or a token validation. So you get authorized yourself at some partner STS or some identity provider, get the token, give it to APIM. APIM will go and validate this authenticity of this token and allows you inside. So this is a DMZ zone. If you consider this as a demilitarized zone, you come on an internet and this might be internal services with an internal load balance or VNet integration. They don't allow, people can't hit this. That's one more reason. I forgot to talk about this one. So one more thing is that all these services, people will not give access to the backend services because for some reason, security, we don't give it. Even when you used to work in the uh, service fabric clusters. So what used to happen is all the backend services, these services will be in one backend pool of the service fabric cluster, and there will be an IP restriction. So no call can come in from the DMZ. From internet, you can't hit any of these services. I will give you the URL, I will give you the contract and ask you to hit. You can't hit it because that has been totally locked down. So you can't hit it. So then next thing what happen is we will have another um, service fabric cluster pool where we have API gateways. So the only IPs which get whitelisted is this API gateways IP. So anyone who can hit this uh, API service is only the services or the applications which has been hosted in this layer, API gateway layer. So clients can't hit, even though you give them the credentials and the tokens and everything, they can't hit it because there is an IP whitelisting. People can't hit from the internet. No DMZ business. They have to come through this. The only guy who can hit them is this API gateway. That's pretty important point. So these people doesn't know that these exist. It's like a ghost, phantom. They don't exist, but they give you the data. Only the API gateway can speak. That's another layer of security. Okay, aggregation, offloading. This is some of the things like IP. We'll see this one also. Whitelist and rate limiting, logging, monitoring, response caching, compression, and serving static content. We'll see to a decent extent. If not in this episode, we'll definitely do it in the next episode. Okay. Some of the policies. Okay. We'll start working on the policies and then we will go through it. Okay. How can we do all these things? So some kind of transformation, you can write it here. Okay, and we'll see that. I just want to give a quick this one walkthrough on this one. So there is a control flow. We can add this and request forwarding. We can do incoming request to a particular backend service. We'll see that in a moment and limit concurrency and you will be able to log to event hub, which this we will see when we are discussing on the event hub. Mock response. This is very important. This is very important. Okay, we'll see that mock response. Okay, retry mechanism and return response and this secure APIs using subscription keys. We'll see that how the subscription keys are there. If you come and see in our APIM, you can come in here and you can see that similar to this, you have this built-in all and unlimited. So similarly, you have built-in all subscription. So this is at the service level. This is for the product starter. This is for unlimited. But you can give the subscription key to test it. We'll see that. Okay, subscriptions keys. We'll see how to get it. And this one, I'm parking it. We'll come back to this one. I made a note of those things, and let's see this one. And we'll work on this now. I always come with 0 slides because I directly go maybe Angular or Microsoft or any HashiCorp Kubernetes. I'll directly go to the site and use their documentation instead of me copy pasting and modifying. Uh, that's what I do that one. So here is the API management. There are a bunch of services behind the scenes. See, the service fabric is one of the things. And when we used to work in 2017, 18, around that time, we used to write API gateways in coding. Believe me, we used to write that. So here, if you have 6 services, there used to be 6 copy. This API gateway is nothing like it's like a post when it receives the JSON request, it validates the JWT token and strip off some of the fields or transform and send it to the API service, get the response if it needs to massage it or strip off some of the values or send it across. We used to do that. Okay. So these all things to a decent extent we have already covered that, and I think we have to first we'll see this mock API response. Just give me 1 minute, guys. I'll have a glass of water. So why do we need this mock API response? So assume that in the previous picture we told that let's assume this backend service, this API service is not there. Products API service is not there, not yet there, but the dev team, they're ready and they say that they give us a contract or the dummy content. We want to build the UI first to showcase this to customer or the product owner. So the product manager will immediately say that, guys, can you mock something and do it real quick? And the API service team will say that, sir, we are not yet ready. But he says that, I don't know, can you do something, get the content out of the doors? So what we can do this, we'll come here, mock this response. Assume that there are no APIs. Let's start our life with that. So what do we do that? Okay, we come to this here and uh, we'll create an API here. Okay, HTTP API, we'll do a test API. And then in the operation, you'll just add an operation. Okay, so operation, it's like dummy content, or we can use it like products. So in the responses tab, you'll say that return 200, and here you return 200, and here in this you give the products. You'll give this dummy products. So anyone who's hitting that API, so that guy will be able to. So you can come in here. That guy will be able to see the content, right? So let's create it first. So this is our APIM. We'll come back to this APIs. We'll see products and subscription a little later, but we will see step by step. So we'll click on add. There is something which already exists, echo. We'll come and see this. We'll be playing with this also in the echo service also. See, there are quite a few retrieve response. At least I'll show this one piece. Uh, okay, retrieve response, and you can come and uh, test that. And param value, this is not required, this is required when you go and click on send. So that sends the request to the backend, and you can see that what was the request. And another very important thing is here, this is the subscription key. So if I want to hit this from the postman, if I want to hit this from the postman, come here. I come and hit this with the postman, it says that access denied, because until unless you give this subscription key. So if I come in here, take this subscription key and add it as part of the header. Okay, that's the subscription key, and I can unblock this, put this value, and I can hit it. It returned 200. Okay. Okay. And apart from that, if you want this tracing, so the tracing is another important thing which will help us to debug, like what was that inbound, what has come in, like all the details, like what was the subscription key. So it's giving my local machine's IP. Like if I come in and see this, what is my IP address? It will show here. See this 151.217. 151.217. That's my IP. So which from Windows, and a lot of other details will help you, like on which port we came in, how did it executed. Every bit and piece will come. So for to have this trace enabled, what you need to do is you need to pass in another parameter here. So for your calls, whatever the calls which you're making, you feel that the tracing is needed. So all you need to do is add this and make it true. So if you come in and send it, so it will invoke it, but behind the scene, the tracing will get enabled and you will be able to trace that. So we'll do one more thing. So coming back to the insights, this APIM is already hooked up to the application insights. So let me come back over here, go to this application insights, and you see there was one failed request. We just now we failed it. We didn't pass the subscription key. So you can come in here and check this count. See that unauthorized. The response code was unauthorized. Just now we hit this one. What was the time? Just a couple minutes ago. See, access denied due to the missing subscription key. So this is advantage. Now you know that who is accessing your API. So everything is in a centralized location. See this, it clearly gave you the visual look, like when you hit this APM instance, there's an APM instance that's going and hitting the backend, right? So that's pretty cool. We saw like this, we'll see bits and pieces. Anything which is not covered in this session, we'll revisit. I'll ensure that we are revisiting in the next session. So let's see this adding new mock response. Chalo guys. So let's assume that project manager or whoever is there is sitting at our desk, is not leaving the desk until we give him the his API, whatever he needs it. So we'll go and we'll add it. What is that? Test API. Let's call it as a product API instead of test API. Let's add this one, and display name is products API, right? So the web service, the products API. So okay, let me move this so it will be easy for me to switch between the windows. I'll close this. Okay, display name is this one. Select the, okay, so the display name is this one, and select the products is unlimited. So let's keep it this one, HTTPS. Let's keep it this HTTPS, and we don't have anything there. So well, we'll keep it like this and we'll create it. At this point of time, we don't have any backend. Okay, do we need to have anything in this products API? Okay, nothing is needed. Or we can have or we can have this suffix like this, like products. Okay, that means we know that it is specifically for the products. So we'll add that products API. Okay, that now that we have added just an API, now we need an operation. Okay, get all products or get product by ID. At least we need couple of calls, but we'll not go and see all those things, but at least to a decent extent, we'll see few of them. So this is the design. It takes a little bit time, folks. Okay, this is the design. It says that what is the display name and the web service URL. We'll see that next once we are creating that. And another thing is we have API URL suffix, and it has got its subscription key. The security is you can have user authentication, OAuth or OpenID, and application insights, which is already enabled. Now Azure Monitor local, we don't need this one. Okay, and the next thing is we can, you here we see this graphical design. Wherever you want to add the policies, we'll add the policies, but we'll wait for 1 minute. Okay, I need volunteers when we have this one. So we'll see one or two things here. So whitelisting, please go to this, what is my IP address, and collect your IP address and keep it ready. I will need it in 2 to 3 minutes down the line. Okay, chalo then. So let's go ahead and we need to test it. So the next thing is we will add an operation to that one. Okay, so this operation we'll call it as a get products. Let me come back to this one, add an operation. Okay, get all get products. Okay, that's get products. So that's, we already have a prefix. We don't need to do any of those things. Okay, and we have already seen that. So if someone hits it, what is that we want to send? You're saying that if someone clicks this, give him 200 OK. Okay, and content type, you can have the headers also. Let us, that's the description of this, and let me save this. Okay, we already have this. That looks ugly. God. No, I didn't like it. If you have products here, then we will say all. Okay, this is, we'll call it as eShop. Makes sense. eShop / products. Okay, now this makes, okay. So that has been saved. So if I come into this, what do we have? Uh, we have one product here. So that product we will we need to send the response. We need to send the response. So let's go to the settings. I just want to ensure that in the settings we have eShop, and if I want to test this, get products. I mean, we are sending only 200 OK. We didn't send the we didn't send this one the hard-coded response. Okay, we'll do that in a moment. So let's come back to the settings of this one, and we'll fix it. So we have added an operation, and we have created the response type, and we said that anyone who's calling, we need to send the 200 response. So under the representation heading, we need to add a representation, and we will change that. So let's go back to the design, and uh, let's go back to the design, and we will change the representation. We need to add the representation for this particular operation. I'm sorry. Setting. Okay. go that. Let me come in here. Under the response, we are saying that the response, we will add a representation. Just give me a minute. This is the one. And here, add a representation. Content, we will write application by JSON. Right? That's the one thing we will do it. And inside this sample, here we can write a big one, but at least the product ID A10101 and product name iPhone, right? So we have this here. So you can click on this and again, we can do it. And the other way is that there are a lot of online JSON validators out there. One of the things which I use is JSON lint. Okay, when you are not sure whether your JSON is valid or not, you can use this. It gives you that. Okay, that is pretty clear, and we'll save this one. And if you want to see how the policies are here, what we can do is you can click on this. You see this. As of now, there are no policies here. As of now, there are no policies here, but we'll come back to test and we'll click on this one. Get products. Let's check the trees. Originator is missing. Okay. Bypass the cards. Okay, now you got that. Okay, what it says. Let's see the trace. What is that it is giving? Originator was missing or an empty. And the request was classified as that. Is the problem. We'll check that 1 second. It shouldn't be a big thing. Manage. Subscription is required. We didn't enable this. Let's check the design. There's nothing in outbound. There's nothing in backend. See that. What did I enable? There's nothing in here. Okay, 1 second. Let's see that. It's not a big thing. Okay, and the inbound policy will do a mock. Sorry, so I missed that step. In the inbound policies, we'll start adding this policies, mock response. Okay, that's the mock response. We'll give that. Well, we have added this where we have added the operation and we said that response will be 200 and the content type is application by JSON. We are splitting it out and then we edit the response mocking. We said that in the inbound policies, we said that add a policy, mock response, and that's what we saved it. And now we should be able to test this one. Now I'm coming in here. See that? 200, okay. Mocking is enabled. Now what I can do is I can come back over here and copy this entire thing, come into this and open a new tab and click on send. Again, the same problem you will face it because we didn't send the subscription key. Subscription key over here, and then that should be part of the header. We'll come back over here and do it, and let's see. Ah, should be part of header, not as params. And let's go to this parameters. Fill this. Let's put it here. Remove that. Send it across. You got it. Now, anytime we need extra, anytime we need some extra content, we don't need to worry at all. We can um, come to the design. Okay, we can come to the design and then click on this. Come here and we can we'll add a new product. We'll come and add validate the JSON. Like looks like the JSON is good. I validated it. I'll copy that. I'll come back over here and go to the response. And there's a response. And here is a sample. I'll select it. I delete everything. I paste this one and save it. Now, if I come back, now you're getting two products. Now see this, how easy it is for you to create a API. Because right at this point of time, we don't have this API services. But assume that the UI developers are pretty fast and they are ready. They said that they want to go ahead and do a mock-up. So what is the option do we have? We have the option that we can use this mocking. That's a pretty cool feature, isn't it? Now, with this, I can create any API, isn't it? If I do /ID, I can return this get products by ID. I can give it. And post product, I can have it. It doesn't stop us anywhere. Okay. Now I want volunteers to try this. And anyone, please call out your name that you're going to try it. Uh, and I'll give you this also. Then I'll put IP restrictions. Now tell me that once you access it, give me your IP address. Use a postman, hit this. And then, okay, Harshit, are you able to see the output, Harshit?
Yeah, I'm doing it. Give me 2 minutes.
Okay, do that. Once you confirm, I'll block your IP address. If anyone else is also trying, just do let me know. Once you're able to see the output, we'll block your IP. Okay. Ravi, are you able to see that?
Yes, currently I'm getting the response.
Okay, I'll block you now. Okay, Sumit and Ravi. I will add this. I just saved it. Now try.
Okay, now I'm getting 403 forbidden.
Forbidden. Cool. So this is one other thing. So what we can do is one of the good reason is we have created this APIM and we sold this products to Ravi, Ravi, Sumit, and Harshit. And Harshit and Sumit, they have renewed their service, and Ravi, you didn't renew your service. So the easiest way to block is we have enabled only the IPs of your on-premise IP. So only your company or the backend service where you have it, only that can be whitelisted. No, you didn't renew your subscription. I can block those IPs. So that way, you will not see that response. So Arshit, now you should not get. So Ravi, as I was starting the discussion with that, even though we do the token validation at the top, at the APIM level, but it is good to have this in individual services also. As of now, you are going ahead with this APIM. Tomorrow, you might put it as an individual service. You never know that. But to have it logged, that will be the good thing. Okay.
Okay, okay,
ठीक है.
yeah, good.
So Arshit and Sumit, you're seeing now, or you're getting blocked? You-
I can see it now still. Let
Your
me send
IP.
it again. My yeah.
Blocked actually.
Yeah, that's what it's blocked. So Sumit, I expect yours is also blocked. So next we'll do one more policy. I remove this so that now you guys should be able to see the content. We'll go ahead and add another policy. Let me come in here, and this time I will delete this. There is no IP filter. This time we'll do the rate limiting. So rate limiting means I'm saying that from your particular IP address. Okay, I'm saying number of calls. I'm saying I'm not going to allow more than 5 calls. Okay, within 60 seconds. Okay, counter by IP address. So any given IP address, you will not be able to make more than 5 calls. Okay, and everyone can try this on your Postman. Let it come. I will show you. Parallelly, you guys can also try that. And we'll do a couple of other scenarios. These are all the real-time scenarios which we have to implement uh, when we are using this one. Okay. Now we have the rate limit. Now I'll come back. I'll come back over here, and I do. This is one, the first call, the second call, the third call, the fourth call, the fifth call, the sixth call is gone. So to see this, it says that try again in 53 seconds. So in the first 7 seconds, I tried 5 times. So my quota is over. So my quota is over. So anytime I give it a shot, and again it doesn't allow me to do that. Volunteers, please give that a shot and confirm that you are not able to hit it the sixth
Yeah,
time.
this is just for 5 times only.
Okay, cool. Chalo, let's do one more scenario. We'll use this conference API. Okay, we're getting it. This one, we'll use this as an API. In the next episode, we'll create our own APIs. We will come back over here and we'll add a new API. Service. The conference API is here. I just created it. We will publish our own books API, the same one, but I'm holding that to the next episode so that we'll stitch all these 5 people. So we are here under the under this conference API. So we'll see this one by one now. So I'll come out of this. So this is still here. Let's go ahead and set this one. Let us fix that. Okay, and add this suffix. Hold on. This is the conference API. And if I want to go to any specific conference, we'll do / you go / sessions. So in that session, if you want to see session 100, so again, we need to navigate like this. You got it. So that's how we can navigate in this session. So let's work. Let's assume that we have created our own. So let me delete and recreate it. I'll delete this one. And I'll recreate that. APIs will create API and open specification. That's the one which I took it wrong. That's my mistake. So it will come from this open API specification. It's in full. And if you have this open API specification, you give that. So rest everything it is taking care of. See that? Rest everything it is taking care of. It's both. We have that. So open API specification, we have this one. And do we need to select this? No, API version is not needed. So we just do a create. It just creates it. And after it is creating, we need to add this in the settings blade. We'll go in the web service. We'll update this one. Subscription required. I mean, subscription, if it is needed, it is needed. Now see this. Previously, it didn't show all these things. That was my mistake. And we can come in and we can see that it is already properly configured with this one. So no need to change anything. And come back and we can see a lot of these configurations here. So if at all the XML is coming, how do you manage? How do you do the transformation? We'll see that, but now we'll go and we'll see this, whatever the things which we are doing. I can come in and test that. Get all sessions. See, this is the one which we have to test first. So if I do get all sessions, it will give me all the sessions, the output of all the sessions. Suppose if I want to test any of these things, so session ID, I need to know that. So if I come in here in the get session, if I come into the get session, they're asking for the ID. So I'm giving the session ID is 100. So you see that exactly the specific session is coming in here. Here we have seen that the 100 session is this one. See, keynote 10 north, right? Here we see this one. So like this, again, if you come back to the design, we'll have a quick. So front end we have seen that, and to a decent extent we have seen few things. Uh, oh, to a decent extent, we have seen few things. We have seen IP filtering. We have seen limit call rate. We have seen mock response. Similarly, we have set headers, set usage quotas, validate content, cache response, lot of other things. Is validate JWT. Other policies are there. This is the quota. This also we can try it. So what will happen is, if you see the number of bytes or the content, we will get charged based on this, isn't it? Number of content which we are hitting it. Let's assume that this is a service where you're calculating the route. Let's assume the taxi service. So going from location A to location B, it costs 10 rupees in route 1 and 20 rupees in route 2 and 15 rupees in route 3. So different routes. So the taxi services, before charging, they want to come and hit our service to tell to the customer that they will be charging either 10 rupees, 15 rupees or 20 rupees based on the route they go it. But for them, we are saying that I'm going to allow 100 calls in an hour based on the subscription you have taken. Okay, I'm going to give you 100 calls. Or we can say that I'm going to allow you that only 60 bytes or 70 bytes throughout the day. I mean, I'm just cooking up this one. It is either the number of calls or it will be the bandwidth. So number of kilobytes. Okay, so based on IP or based on the subscription, it could be anything. We have seen that rate limiting. Here the number of calls. So it could be like 100 calls or 1,000 calls in a day or 10,000 calls in a day or MBs or GBs, whatever. Based on the business rule, we can add that. Let's come back and see that. This one we have seen the set policy to validate the size or JSON. There is another thing is transformation that we will see in the next one, or we will see one practical exercise. Just want to cover this, then we'll go and do the one lab scenario. So outbound processing here, like set header, validate contents, okay, and the status code, and there are other policies also. And here in the backend, what is the backend which we will set it up. So if at all the backend is there, even we can add the Azure functions also. At this point of time, it is not needed. So now let's see creating this lab scenario. Okay, AZ-204 lab scenario. So let's come in here. We will create one app service real quick. I will come in here and we'll create a lab. This is ow. This, what is that? Okay, that should be HTTP API. Web app. Let's create this web app real quick. So the subscription, enter the API service. Let me keep it here. I will call this as app 001. Okay, that's the API service we have named. And publish will select it as a Docker container, and operating system is Linux, and select the region. My favorite region, I'll put it everything in the East US. We'll put it in the East US region, and app service name, I will create it so that we know that why did we create this. Okay, that is app represents the app service and plan represents this one. And what is that they're asking? Create a plan and size, select S1 instead of this one. Ooh, I don't have that much budget. S1 should be good enough. Right. So we select this S1 size. Okay, next click on the Docker. Next we'll click on the Docker and select single container hub, and this is the API that's from the Docker hub, and it's a public image, and this is the one. You see that single container, and it's from the Docker hub, and it's public, and this is the one. And now we can go ahead and review and create. I'll do a review and create, and click on create. Do review and create and click on create. So test the HTTP bin web application. So we can go to that one. Okay, and then we can web application perform the following operations. Okay, select the response format. We'll do this one. Just give it a minute. Let it complete. We'll see that. Let it create it. Wow, it's taking some time. Shouldn't take that much time. Okay, and yes, in the meanwhile, we'll see that. So once this is coming up, within the web application, we can perform this response format, get HTML, try it out, and byte, and also I think there is one for the XML also, if I'm not wrong. There's one for the XML. Let that come. Let's see that. Okay, it's been deployed. For some reason, strange thing is it doesn't appear. I can go in here and select on that and come to the overview. Now if I come back, now it appears. I mean, it's taking a few seconds delay, but that's not a crime. So we'll come in here and we'll click on that. Okay, so see this, it's coming similar to the Swagger, right? So that's the cool thing. So here we click on that, we did a browse and select the response formats. So we can select it here. This is what we need to select, the response format. So here you see this. If you want X, we can execute it. That gives the HTML. And if I want XML, I can do a XML. And the same content, if you want in JSON, we can try that in JSON. So it gives us this content in JSON. That's pretty cool. So we have tried all these things. Rest of the things, I mean, it's the same, isn't it? No matter whether you get it in the JSON or in the bytes, whatever it is, the different output format. That's what is very important for us. Like we'll be able to see that transformation from XML to JSON. Okay, so that one is there. So within the application, select the status code and try it out. We can try all these things, but we'll give one try, not all the one. So try it out, and if I 200 OK, so that gives 200 OK. Now other things is 400 and 500. So if I tell that 404 or 403 forbidden or whatever it is returning the same. So they have hosted that application and we can test few of the things. That's very important. So we did this first step. So we can consider it as a 50% of the world piece. We have conquered that. Now let's come back to this API management. Now you can see that in this API management, we did play to a decent extent. So we were able to create a products API and we were able to mock it. Okay, summary, we can do it last. First, let's complete this. Uh, uh, okay, so API management, okay, subscription, API service, this is resource name. We need to add a new API. Okay. Oh, this is the APM creation. I'm not going to do because I just did it around 8:30. It took 40 minutes to create it. So I'm not going to do that. So see this. Now what we have to do is we need to create an under the API section, define a new API, and that is HTTP API. Now, guys, when you're creating it, so please ensure that whether you're creating with the WSDL, okay, the SOAP over XML, or RESTful XML, or Open API, or a WebSocket, or created from Azure resource, Logic App, App Service, Function, Container App. We'll see these two in the next episode when we are discussing it on the Cosmos DB. In the Cosmos DB, we'll do this one. Okay. So we'll see this also we tried it. And this we tried it to a decent extent in 2003, 4, 5, 6, around that time. I used to work in the ASP.NET web services. Okay. So that's the .NET Framework 1 long ago, almost 20 years ago. So we used to work in the SOAP over XML. Chalo. So that being said, let me come back to this one. We need to create a HTTP API. Let's go to the full mode. Or is the basic mode? What is that? Okay, that's cool. We don't have any problem. Display name is this one. Let's also stick to the game plan. That's it. There's nothing in more than that. So he's asking us to web service URL, enter the prefix in the bin. In the notepad, ensure that we are having here all the way till. Okay. Right. Those are the two things which we need to do it. Display name, web service URL that we already copied it. Okay. URL suffix, let's leave it empty. And we'll just click on create. That's cool. We'll click on create. So in the design tab, add an operation. And we can add this echo headers. And then we'll get the echo headers. And what is that? This guy is adding set header policy. Okay, that's boring. We don't need that. We'll do something which is which we didn't try that. Okay, this makes more sense. So we are getting the XML data, I assume. Yep. The XML transformation is the one which we didn't see. This is a simple one, guys. So let's skip to this one. I mean, once we complete this, we can go back. Let's do this one. Get legacy data. What happened? What? Oh, I have already with that plane here in this conference API. I didn't add it. So these two are clashing. So if you see that the base one here, it creates it. So that's the thing it was troubling us. Okay, cool. Never mind. So let's do this legacy data. Add an operation, and the display name is legacy data. Okay, URL is get, and get XML. That's the one. We'll add that. Okay. URL list, it is get, and URL is get XML. And click on save. Okay, back in the design tab, we'll select that and let's test it. Let's test that. See that? You're getting this sample. So let's try from our Postman also. Let's test it from the Postman. We'll come back over here. Enable this.
It has to be in header actually, not param.
Oh, God, again, I'm doing the same mistake. So coming back to this one, we'll click on that. We are getting this one. Okay, so that's cool. Now this is coming. Now in the design panel, we need to go to that outbound and add a policy. So in this outbound policies, so we have this and replace the block with this one. Okay, XML to JSON. So we'll add this outbound policy. We'll come back over here, go back to the design and select this operation. And come on, give it the control. Add the policy. After the base. Okay, so we have added this policy and we saved it and back to the design and we can test that one. Or else I can go here. I can test it. You see that? Previously, it was coming in as a XML, but now what is happening is while it is going through the process and we can come in here and we can quickly test this from here and go to the trace. So it is giving the JSON, but if we go, we'll see that is this giving it in XML. API test, it is XML. And that is, the response is 200. Okay, see this, the outbound transformation, XML to JSON policy was applied. So that means the content which it retrieved from the API, is this one. If I minimize this, go to the response formats, and it wasn't in XML. It was on this XML when we did a tryout. So this was the content which it received. And when it applied the transformation, it transformed from this XML to JSON. Okay, so that's it for this session, and we'll do more. The next session will be on 22. We'll do it on Cosmos DB. Okay, so again, guys, let's go for one more round of voting. So this is the series which I'm planning to start. So I want your voting so that I can put focus on only those things which is bringing in highest vote or top two highest votes. Like I can do one episode every month. So AZ-104, DP 900, or artificial intelligence 900, or developing an entire e-commerce solution. I mean, that will be this one. We'll develop this. It's not that we will do it in 1 2 hours session or uh, 1 half day session. It will be like we'll build this piece, test it individually with Postman, deploy it into the Docker and Kubernetes, and a lot of things are going to come. Just I'll give a quick sneak peek, but please don't get derailed with that. But it's a work in progress. If you go ahead and see this one, it will be lot of content on that one, like we do object op mappers, and then we do the Docker Compose, and then how do you deploy it to Docker Hub and deploying multi-containers in using Docker Compose, and AKS in YAML. A lot of things are going to come. You can see that how many ways you can execute this. You execute it in IIS, Express, Kestrel, Docker, Docker Compose, and Azure Container Instance, app services with Docker Container, Kubernetes. I mean, I'm not uh, enforcing that please choose it for e-commerce, but I would like you guys to vote it so that I'll collect which one do you want to prefer. You can give the number 1 2 3 4. So one is AZ-204, DP 900, AI 900, e-commerce 1 2 3 4. Please vote it so that I will collect it and I'll focus. I still have 3 more months time, so I'll put my focus and okay, Sumit is 3, AI 900. Others, please. Okay, Brijesh. Okay, Sumit 4, Brijesh 4, Harshit 3. Harshit, you want AI 900? Yogesh 4, Kishan 4, Praveen Raghuvanshi, Balaji Chandrasekhar from Bangalore, Vipin. Okay, 4. I think 4 is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 10, 11. Okay, that's cool. I just collected. We got 11 notes for this. That's cool. That's it, guys. So thanks so much. Let me collect it for other 2 things. And as far as I see that we are leaning more towards e-commerce solution, that will be fun to create it. Okay. A lot of things will come in like Prometheus, Grafana, and alerts monitoring, Signal R. I don't know what is going to come in. Identity, I've shown you, isn't it? That identity server, creating our own identity server. A lot of things are going to come. Thank you so much. Any feedback, positive or negative, please feel free to speak out, folks, because that will help me in preparing the content. Please do not hesitate. If you have any suggestions, please speak out. Venkatesh, I mostly do these things as part of the series because, if the series is like for the certifications, you find a lot of content, but I mainly focus on the hands-on. You see that I come speak about a topic and do a hands-on, even though if it is a very small, learn about it and do a hands-on. So if it is a Databricks kind of thing, I think I can do that, but it will be like a series. I for some reason I love to do it as a series. I'll just made a note of that in my Excel on the Databricks. I'll see uh, what is that it is coming in.
So thanks, Swamy. This is really great. I mean, the way you explain it, like you already comes like with the hands on, right? And
Right.
that is the best part. I'm attending these sessions right since long, and this is the best part I would say. And as far as the Databricks is concerned, so if you need my help, I will post my email ID. You can ask me, and I can plan for the Databricks session. I will try to make it more on hands-on side. But yeah, if it is needed, I'm ready to do that. I mean, if you can put me in any of the three session as well for the
ठीक
same.
है cool cool post anything else Ravi or is it Carola Krishna or Krishna? What's your first name? KK. Thanks, Ashit. Ashwin, Melvin, Brijesh, Praveen Raghuvanshi, Narasimha Rao. Anyone has got anything to discuss? Amit, Balaji, Kisan, Murugan. Is your okay? Murugan MK. Supriya, Venkat, Venkatesh, and Yogesh. Anything else from you guys? So as of now, based on the voting, I see e-commerce, creating the e-commerce solution is in leading, but we have 5 more episodes. So Venkat is 4. Cool. Thanks, Venkat. I'll make it 12. So we'll plan to do some full hands-on, 8 hours hands-on on this one, maybe in August month. I'll check with Rashmita, see when can we do it, but we'll plan if. Okay. So cool. So that's it. Anything else, folks? You can unmute yourself and speak.
Swami, one request before, you end the session. Would you like to, tell folks about the Learn module link that you shared with me for today's session? I can display my screen, and you have handpicked by yourself. So,
Yeah.
I think you should speak and the importance of doing the Learn module or completing the Learn module link.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. I'll.
I know you
Uh,
forgot while
uh,
you're doing the demo, so a quick reminder.
oh, that's my weakness. Technology is my weakness. See, guys, this is pretty good because anytime I go before appearing for any exam, I'll come in here because I learn it from different places, from sites or from Udemy or Plural Site or Udemy or Plural Site. And Alan Rodriguez is my favorite author. Seriously, very knowledgeable person. So, and here in this MS Learn module, definitely I get something new to learn. It's not even though I refer multiple video courses and multiple sites, but when I come in here, there is definitely things which I will learn it. And after coming in here, that's when I figure it out that, hey, this is the new thing which I never knew that. So this is very, very important, folks. And the hands-on exercise, whatever they give is very good. If you see this one here, the creating backend API. So that was pretty cool, isn't it? uh, the conference API. The API is already there. So all we can do is integrate it into that API and then start incorporating whatever you have learned in the previous sessions. If you see that, they have discussed in length on the policies. So we did add some of the policies, isn't it? Not response content, but we already did the things which they spoke in different places. We did the rate limiting, and we also did the mock response. We didn't put this retry, and then we added the JSON to XML transformation. So at different places we used it. So for sure, what happens is learning through this MS Learn module will
Hello.
strengthen. Hello.
No, tell me, Sarthak.
Okay. So learning from this learn module will definitely strengthen
Mhm.
your muscle power. You know,
No, just mention. Otherwise, again, security will stop.
okay, okay. So that's it, folks. So you can refer those learn modules, and additionally have this hands-on also. You know, that gives extra learning pieces, because that particular content was created by Microsoft, and they specifically highlight those pieces which are very critical. If you see in today's learn module, whatever we have seen, that the mocking and the policies, rate limiting, all these things are pretty critical when it comes to the implementation. And even if we didn't even need to create anything, isn't it? Like, how do you secure your subscriptions using subscription keys? That we have seen that. And then we will create our own subscription. That's when we come back to the next episode, when we are discussing about the Cosmos DB, we'll do that. Okay. So back to you, Rashmita. Folks, anything else you want to speak, feedback, or?
Hi, yeah, hi, Swamy. So it came only for last half an hour, so I will you have watched the video. I have one question. You showed about this policies in this APIM. So I had seen one. I mean, somewhere I got the information. I mean, I've seen a video where they have some policies in this Azure Active Directory. So setting the policy there and then here, it will be like overlapping, or a conflict could happen if we set policies there and then here also.
Uh, Azure AD, what is the policies which they have?
So they can say, yeah, you can block, say you can block the access, the authentication from any IP address or
Okay,
from
so,
any location.
that is like an IAM, access management, identity and access management. Azure AD is purely for that one. Okay, so
Okay.
one of the thing which I spoke at the starting was that when you do Azure Functions. So I told that, or as you told, you missed it. I'll repeat it. It's a good point. Thanks for bringing it. So if you have the Azure function, we will not leave it empty. So we'll say that that has to be having the function code to hit the Azure function. Assume that you deployed Azure function to the Azure portal. And if someone wants to hit it, they have to give the function code. And there are thousands of people. For us, it doesn't make sense to give this Azure function URL along with the function code to all of them. So what we generally do is we'll put this API layer and we will add Azure functions into this one. So that passing the Azure function code has been abstracted and it is given to the API layer. Now, do the API layer need to go and send this function code? Not always. So what we generally do is we'll create an application and we'll hook the Azure function with the Azure AD registered application. So that means, and we'll open that. We'll say that this Azure function doesn't need any authentication. But does that mean that if I give you an Azure function URL, will you able to hit it? No, because it has been integrated with the AD. You have to give the username and password, your credentials, then only you will be able, the token, JWT token, then only you will be able to hit the authentication, and then only you will be able to hit the Azure function. Then the next thing what we do is we'll add it, the APIM, and we'll create a managed identity of the APIM also. So now the Azure function and APIM both will have the Azure AD integration. So, and also there is something known as a token store. So what happens is the APIM doesn't need to send any auth code. So it knows that both are integrated with the AD. So it directly calls without the auth code or the code for the Azure function. And the token, whatever it generated, after 15 minutes, if it is expiring, there is a token store which auto refreshes the token. So that has been hooked up. That I'll be showing this demo. That's a very good demo. Maybe a little later, but I'll definitely show that. Balaji.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. Murugan, anything from you? Narasimha Rao, I think Ravi spoke. Venkat also spoke. Venkatesh, Yogesh, Brijesh Kotari, Kisan Tilak, Karola Krishna, Arshit spoke. Ashwin, Amit, anything from you? Okay, cool then. If all is well, let's close this bridge. See you in the next episode. Okay, you can call me Swamy. Murugan, all my friends, they call me Swamy. You can also call me. Thank you so much, folks. Have a good rest of the day. See you in the next session. Bye. So I will be preparing for my, for our